This is an incredible men's makeover here. You go from this long stuff to this in about 15 minutes or less. Alright, I'm showing you the technique right now. It's clipper over comb. You just zip this heavy stuff off. It doesn't take very long to do this. Took my client probably 6 months or better to grow this hair this length. Takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to zip it all down. You may recognize this guy. He's been in a couple films. There we go. Just follow your pattern. This is kind of a haircut tutorial for you. I'm a master barber. I've been doing this over 30 years. Don't expect to be this fast starting off. I can do it way faster, but I'm trying to give you a little bit of heads up here on how to do things. The smaller motions are better. Your big motions are made with a comb. Notice I'm using a flat top comb here. It gives you a wider band to let that clipper glide through there. You can use a standard comb too, but this just, for longer hair, this works great. Spinning my client around here a little bit. Trying not to get myself in there too much. Just a technique. There's a pretty good angle here. You can see what I'm doing. See how that comb is tilted just slightly? Not quite 45 degrees, but you can take a massive amount of hair off like this. I'm actually going backwards here. I'm ambidextrous. I could do it left and right-handed, but most people are right-handed. A little taper up the back here. Of course, this is a medium length haircut. Client doesn't like it too awful short. Just kind of cleaning up the neck as we go here. I'm putting a little taper in there. Won't be able to see too much here. But that's all I'm doing, is I'm just tapering that out. This is a wall clipper. I use wall clippers, Andis clippers, Osters. I use them all. I can do all these haircuts with just shears and comb too. And I'm just damping it down a little bit here. The key is to get it evenly damp. He's just about there. Just about ready for the comb work. I'm only 5'6" or so I've got to stand on a little box. My client's fairly tall, so. Here I'm going right straight down through the center and off to the left just a little bit. And off to the right just a little bit. Just tying that all in. If you're just starting out learning how to cut hair, you won't be able to cut hair nearly this fast. I can do this with my eyes closed. You probably don't want me to, though. The haircut would probably look better than it feels. If you go too fast, you're going to end up cutting one of your knuckles. And if a barber says he's never cut his own knuckle, he's lying to you. Now I'm just tying in from back to front. It's basically cross-checking. You should do this on all your haircuts. You're going to miss a little bit here and there, so that's why you cross-check. I'm combing that all the way to the right. I'll pull it up. I'm pulling that very, very taut. Not enough to hurt the client or anything like that. But you see, I'm basically going over it again, making sure. It was perfect the first time through, but you know, you always go back through it. I typically can do a haircut in 10 minutes. I'm stretching this one out a little bit more because I know this guy and I'm talking to him while I'm cutting his hair. I'm just tying this into that clipper work that I did. If you use consistent motions like you're seeing me do with my left hand, it's going to be even all the way through. Now I'm peeling that all the way to the left. My client parts his hair on the right hand side, or on the left hand side rather. But this way, you don't have to worry about which side he parts his hair on because it's going to be perfectly even all the way through. Just following that technique. Front to back, front to back. Pick up your guide. I've done this for over 30 years, so I can just whiz right through this. Hope it's not too fast for you. You can leave comments here. I'll respond to you if you have any questions on any techniques. You know, flat tops, anything. I'll try any men's haircut. I can teach you any men's haircut. Over the years, people have changed vernaculars from taper to fade to, you know, they just come up with different terms. It's all the same. Today's terms, this would be a long, I'd call it a taper, but men's haircut. I'm actually using something called the Sebring style here. Jay Sebring, you'll have to research that a little bit. This video is only 15 minutes, so I don't have that long to kind of talk to you about it. Jay Sebring. It's a special technique. It's kind of universal for haircuts. Remember, this is your client's hair, not your haircut, so take into consideration any tidbits that they tell you. Here I'm just kind of tapering that in just a little bit. Going around the ear here. You'll notice that I cut very slow, very, very precise around the ears. I use shears that are sharp, as most barbers would. You do not want to nick your client. So take your time around the ears. Just proceeding around here. You'll be able to see how I tie that in. So I just brushed that forward there. I'm getting that moisture down. Sometimes you get too much moisture, you got to wipe it off with a paper towel or something. But this is a critical part right here. Making sure everything is combed in the same direction. Find about where you're going to lay the bangs on the brow. And just tie that in. Sideburns too. Very good. Very slow. Sometimes slow is fast. See how I'm pulling that hair down with that comb? You got to know what you're doing there. You don't want to take too much hair off. Here's kind of a critical point. Your client's input, you know, they'll tell you if they want their bangs short, medium, or long. I'm doing his a standard length here. You'll see about where my shears lay on his forehead. You don't want to go too high. You don't want to go too low. Just tying it all in here. The key is that left hand there. You see me working it? My eyes are laser focused on if I've missed any strands in the front. That'll just completely ruin a haircut if you miss them. Your client will get home, wash his hair the next day, and what the heck, this barber didn't know what he's doing. But just keep combing it down, you'll get it. Just doing a little light drying on his hair here. Getting the heavy moisture off there with a paper towel. Just do a little bit of a light dry on here. You don't want to dry your client's hair out 100% unless they ask for it. You're coming upon the final product here. I'm going to edge him out here. This is an Andis T-outliner. Slimline Pro, I guess it is. LI. Probably the finest edger you'll get. You don't want a zero gap. You'll end up necking your client and run them off. So my blades are backed off just a little bit. They're not going to know the difference anyway. You might get them in sooner if you leave it just a shade longer than zero gap. A tip for you is to check it on your wrist. If you flip your wrist up and hit it with a clipper blade straight down on it, if it leaves a little red mark, you know you're too tight. Your client will feel it. Very light touches. My clients can't even tell that I'm doing anything back here. Very, very, very precise. They don't even feel it. Guarantee it. Another reason you don't want a zero gap is if your clients have any of those skin tags back there, you're going to nick them. And that just ruins a haircut if you nick a skin tag. This client does not have any, so I don't have to worry about it. Just following up on the back here. We're virtually done here. I'll go around the ears and the eyebrows and back of the neck deeper. Dust him off real good. There goes the neck strip. Here's your final product. Like and subscribe. I've got some barber videos on here. I've got a plethora of other stuff, though. Thank you. There's the final product.